creepers, where'd you get those creepers? Creepers, creepers, where'd you get those eyes? Cause y'all get up, how'd they get so lit up? Cause y'all get up, how'd they get that size? Creepers, creepers, where'd you get those creepers? Creepers.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Bakes and thank you for joining me for shelf number 5 of my Shelf by Shelf series. Sorry it has been a little while since my last installment of the Shelf by Shelves. I've just been trying to keep up other content on my channel as well as this series, but I know you guys have been really enjoying it, so let's get underway with shelf number 5, starting over here with the Fs. Well, I guess halfway through the Fs. The first one we have here is this Final Destination collection. I'm a fan of the Final Destination franchise. I'm sure for the same reasons most people are, just really creative kills and lots of fun. I really like 1, 3, and 5. I think 2's okay. A lot of people really like 2. I think it's just fine. 4 is just a little too ridiculous, even for Final Destination, but overall, pretty enjoyable franchise. The Final Wish. I don't remember this one very well, so let's just move on. Firestarter. I remember this one a little too well, so let's just move on. The First Purge. Are there still fans of this franchise? I don't know, but not a big fan of this movie. I think the later Purge films are really bad, honestly. I'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone with this one. Flatliners 1 and 2. Honestly, I don't prefer one more than the other. I know a lot of people are going to be saying, how do you not enjoy the original over the remake, but I think the remake gets too much hate. I think they're just as fine as each other. I'm neither a fan of either of them, to be honest, but whatever. The Fly Ultimate Collection, put out by Via Vision, or Via Vision, however you want to pronounce it. I've been hearing people call it Via Vision. I think it's just however you want to say it, honestly, but it's got the OG Fly in there, Return of the Fly, Curse of the Fly, and then David Cronenberg's remake, which I just love, one of my favourite body horrors of all time. And then The Fly 2, which is underrated. I mean, by all means, it's not great, but not bad. I can't slide that back in, so let's just... continuing on. John Carpenter's The Fog. How cool is this cover art for it? Awesome. I just love the colours in this movie. They all pop. Story-wise, it's nothing special. I don't think it's one of Carpenter's best, but I do enjoy The Fog. The Fog remake. The only thing I like about this one is Fall Out Boy in the intro, but otherwise, yep. Follow Me. A pretty recent film I've added to the collection. I thought this one was going to be a little bit run by the numbers, a little bit generic, but I thought this one wasn't actually too bad. It's like an escape room, influences in there, but it's not as cringy as it sounds. It was quite enjoyable, actually. Followed a found footage mockumentary sort of thing, if I remember right. It wasn't very good. The Forest. I know a lot of people spoke about this one when it first came out, and a lot of people were disappointed in it, and by all means it's not a great movie, but I think it gets too much hate. The Forever Purge, pretty much just like what I said with the first Purge. These later Purge movies are just... they suck, yeah. The Forgotten, a little bit more of a thriller, but I mean, it wasn't really for me. Thought it was alright. The Fourth Kind. I've spoken about in previous videos, I'm a big fan of alien horror movies. They genuinely scare me a fair bit, so I remember watching this one for the first time, and before it started playing I was super excited for it. A lot of people say this is one of the better modern alien movies, but man, this movie just didn't really work for me. It had its moments, but yeah. The Frailty. This is such a good movie. I always forget how much I love The Frailty. Just super engaging story, lots of twists and turns. Yeah, quite enjoyable. One that surprised me with how much I actually loved it, Freaky. I just thought this movie was really funny, really quirky. Yeah, I know it's not going to be for everyone, but I did enjoy Freaky. Freddy vs. Jason. one that's very 50-50 with fans. There's people that understand the fun with it, but on a filmmaking standpoint, it's not a great movie, but I don't mind it. I think it's definitely not too bad. There's worse movies out there for sure. Getting into my Friday the 13th movies now, the OG. I really love this movie. I know a lot of people say, it doesn't hold up the more you watch it, but I disagree. I just think this is a really fun movie. Obviously, it's more straightforward than the later installments, but yeah. Friday the 13th Part 2, my second favourite in the franchise, our proper introduction to Jason. Part 3, which is my favourite. I just find this one to be the most fun. Really enjoyable. Sorry, I've got a frog in my throat, but the final chapter, probably most people's favourite Friday the 13th sequel. I used to not be a big fan of this one, but it's grown on me so much over time, and it's definitely in the top 4 in the franchise. So, Part 5, A New Beginning. I think this one's probably the most gritty and gory Friday the 13th, and a lot of people sort of hate on it because, spoiler alert, it's not Jason, but grow up. It's still a fucking good movie. It's not too bad. Part 6, Jason Lives. Part 7, The New Blood. This one has its moments, but I'm sure most people know it. Just the later the franchise goes on, loses some of its steam, but whatever. Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Not really. It's most of the time just takes place on a boat, and there's lots of questions like, how far can Jason travel underwater? There's so many questions in this movie, and it's not great, but kind of enjoyable. The remake, which I, again, think just gets too much hate. I kind of enjoy this remake. It's more realistic, gritty. It's fun. I enjoy this movie. Yeah. Fright Night. Now, what can I say about Fright Night? If you don't like Fright Night, there's something wrong with you. This movie is just so much fun. And it's like the perfect horror movie. Just a kid, he thinks his neighbor's a vampire, and just doesn't that concept alone just sound like so much fun? Fright Night's awesome. The remake, though not as good, again, I'm saying this about pretty much every movie here, just gets too much hate. As I said, not as good as the OG, but if you're hating on the Fright Night remake, maybe just give it a rewatch. It's actually pretty fun. From a House on Willow Street. Here in Australia it's called From a House on Willow Street, but I think elsewhere it's just called House on Willow Street, and I think another name for it is just Willow Street, so a bit confusing. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie. I think it was okay. From Dusk Till Dawn, keeping on the theme of vampires, one of my favourite vampire horror movies. I just think it's awesome. It's batshit insane, but from start to finish, it's so much fun. From Dusk Till Dawn 2, Texas Blood Money. Not nearly as good. Step down. From Hell with Johnny Depp and Heather Graham. A story about Jack the Ripper that isn't very good. I don't know, this movie is just really boring and really long, which doesn't help. Alright, where am I up to? Shit. Frozen. No, not Disney's Frozen, Adam Green's Frozen. Man, such an underrated film from Adam Green, and just an underrated film in general. This movie's genuinely scary. It's just about these people who get stuck on a chairlift in the snow over the weekend and everyone's gone. And it doesn't sound like it would be that scary, but man, it's just one of those situations where when you're in it, you know you'd be fucked, and there's so much other things going on. I really like Frozen. The Funhouse by Toby Hooper. This character's not in it, which is such a bummer, because I remember picking up this cover for the first time and being like, ho, killer clown, but not it. But either way, pretty fun movie actually. Gacy, obviously about John Wayne Gacy. Has its moments, but nothing really special. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce this movie. I think it's pronounced Gaia or Gia. Actually pretty entertaining. It's about these people off in the like forest, and there's like something going on with the plants and everything, and they're like infecting people. I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's from South Africa. Yep, South Africa. But yeah, quite enjoyable actually. The Gallows. This is a movie I love to hate. It falls into the category for me so bad it's good. I put this movie on whenever I don't want to think but have fun and laugh, because this movie's so undeliberately bad. Undeliberately funny. Yeah, The Gallows. I don't know. I'm just gonna quickly go on from that. Get Out. One of my favorite modern horror / thriller movies. I just think Jordan Peele's a genius. I love all of his movies. This is probably my favorite of his 3. But yeah, I love Get Out. Ghost House. One I always bring up when I say don't judge a movie by its cover, because this cover is awful. And by all means, the movie isn't great, but it's actually not too bad. Has its moments. Ghost Shark. Yep, pretty much what it's about. A shark that's a ghost, and yep, pretty self-explanatory. Ghost Ship. This one's known for that awesome opening sequence, but otherwise the movie's a little bit forgettable. Has its moments, but yeah. Ghostbusters 1 and 2. It had been a long time since I watched both of these. I mean, I'm a big fan of Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. I think Ghostbusters 2 is highly underrated. But as I said, it was a long time since I last watched these, but they came on the movie channel the other day and I just had to watch them. So much fun. Rick Moranis, I love him. Awesome. The Gift. More of a thriller than a horror, but it goes into some fucked up places towards the end. But yeah, really entertaining watch actually. The Ginger Snaps trilogy. I think Ginger Snaps, by all means, it's known as one of the better werewolf horror movies out there, but I still think it's so underrated. For me, I prefer Ginger Snaps over American Werewolf in London and The Howling and whatever else you want to name. I just think Ginger Snaps is awesome. Ginger Snaps 2 has its moments, but it's not great. And same with Ginger Snaps Back, the beginning. I think that one, again, has its moments, but nothing special. Alright, let's keep it going. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. This one was pretty popular in the horror community, and I know it's a bit more of a niche one, not too mainstream, but it didn't really work for me. I don't know, wasn't a big fan. I was a bit bored, honestly. And same could be said with The Girl with All the Gifts. Again, a pretty popular one in the horror community. A bit niche again, but just a little bit boring. Pretty much the exact same thing. Girls Against Boys. I'm not gonna lie, don't remember anything about this one at all. Glass. I do enjoy Glass. I know a lot of people sort of felt let down by this movie, you know. A lot of people seem to like Split, and a lot of people like Unbreakable. I do enjoy this movie. I'm a big fan of like Marvel movies and horror. So yeah, this one worked for me. I like Glass. Nor, a cannibal movie, sort of low budget. Not very good, but yeah, again, I don't remember that one very well. This is my Godzilla Showa Classics Volume 1 set. So on this we have the OG Godzilla, Mothra vs. Godzilla, Godzilla Invasion of the Astro Monsters, Godzilla vs. Ebirah, Son of Godzilla, Godzilla Destroy All Monsters. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing some of the monsters' names, just cut me some slack. Showa Classics Volume 2. So on this one we have Godzilla, All Monsters Attack, Godzilla vs. Hedorah, Godzilla vs. Gigan, Godzilla vs. Megalon, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and Terror of Mechagodzilla. These earlier Showa classic ones, they sort of all merged together for me, so I wouldn't really be able to tell you which ones are my absolute favourite, sort of besides the OG Godzilla. I think that one's just really good, but or maybe the one where Godzilla fly kicks the monster and then does a dance. That one's pretty good as well, but I forget which one. Now there's a set between these two. I don't own it, and it's sort of just impossible to find, so if anyone can hook that up for me, I'd be just so grateful, but you know, you obviously don't have to. Godzilla Millennium series, so this is like all the Godzilla movies after 2000, so we got Godzilla 2000, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 3, Godzilla Tokyo SOS, and Godzilla Final Wars. Out of all three sets that I have, I'd still say that the OG Godzilla is my favourite overall, but I feel like this one has just a better run of movies at least. Sorry about that, guys, I just cut it for a second. I'm sure you could hear the dog barking in the background. Had to go tell it to shut up. Godzilla, the American 90s remake. I've done a review of this movie, so if you want to know my thoughts on it, it's obviously more of an adventure, has its moments, but yeah. The 2014 remake that sort of rebooted the Godzilla Monsterverse, or whatever you want to call it. This movie is not very good. It's one of the worst, if not the worst, in the rebooted franchise. Stephen King's A Good Marriage. Not a good movie, unfortunately. We got both Goosebumps movies, obviously not horror, but they're good to watch around Halloween time and everything, and I'm a big fan of the Goosebumps movies. I'm sure you would have seen on my latest video before this one, but Goosebumps, really enjoyed this movie actually, and Goosebumps 2, underrated sequel. I actually had a lot of fun with that one also. Gothic, a terrible movie. I hate this movie. I've watched it only once, and it is time I will never get back. I don't know, just, it was so boring. Grabbers. This one's actually a lot of fun. It's like these people living on an island, and these monsters come from the ocean, and the only way to survive is to be drunk, because the monsters are allergic to alcohol. So everyone on this island's getting drunk to try and survive these grabbers, which, yeah, just a really fun concept. Cool movie. Oop. Grave Dancers. Had its moments. It's one with a really cool concept. It's like these group of friends go and you know, visit one of their friends' funerals, and they end up like getting drunk and dancing on these graves, and the graves that they dance on is like all these people that have done like fucked up shit before they died, and the ghosts come and seek revenge on them, and in ways that they killed other people. And I don't know, it's a really cool concept, but again, had its moments but didn't really work. And last one for shelf number 5, here we have The Green Inferno, Eli Roth's cannibal movie. I've heard this one sort of come into light again. A lot of people have been really bringing this up. You see it a lot on TikTok, like people that are always like, oh, most disturbing films, and by all means, I actually don't think this movie is that disturbing or gross or brutal. It has been a little while since I watched it, but maybe shouldn't turn it around just in case, but yeah, I thought this movie was alright. Definitely could have been better. I like the idea that the whole reason that the cannibals are eating these people is because they are literally stoned and they have the munchies. A lot of people have that go over their head, but I think that's pretty cool. Alright, so there we go for shelf number 5. I'll have shelf number 6 come out pretty soon. Here we have like my Halloween movies and all that to go through, so keep your eyes out for shelf number 6. But thank you for joining me for this installment, guys, and I'll see you for another video pretty soon. See ya.